But yeah, we're gonna go straight in for our first match of the day. We're gonna have Iceman versus Beppe. Iceman's gonna be on your left, on your right, and Beppe is gonna be on your left. And it seems like Beppe is going to take the Ribbon Girl to fight Iceman. Now obviously this is still going to be a very difficult matchup for Beppe, since Iceman just has a lot of experience and a lot of understanding of the game. But it's going to be a matter of probably just getting in and getting rid of that Dragon Arm that Iceman got very quickly in this round. Still very good throw, disables the Dragon Arm. We also have still Iceman controlling the space with the Ice Dragon as much as possible, being a little bit too overcommittal with those grabs though. But he is going to be able to fall back and get the Dragon Arm set up. Now chat, when I say Dragon Arm, obviously I do mean the... when I say Dragon Arm when regards to Min Min, I do mean her charged arm that she gets from just charging a lot or just getting grab. And not the actual Dragon Arm that she wears on the other arm right now, which is the Ice Dragon. I know it gets confusing very quickly if you've never seen arms, but it's just what happens with Min Min. Like, she's got the Dragon Arm and she also loves to equip dragons for space control. And yeah, that's exactly as I said, because that chakram on the Dragon Arm is going to do a lot in terms of preventing Beppe from getting any movement going, and combined with the Ice Dragon, it's going to be very tough. But we do have Beppe going for the slap on that left arm with the Ribbon Girl. I do think that a lot of arms, again, revolves around shutting down the movement from the opponent, because you've got some characters, especially the characters we have on the field right now, with Ribbon Girl. Ooh, good block here by Beppe. Ribbon Girl is going to rely a lot on her movement. And then Iceman is going to rely a lot on those stun converts into grab in order to get that Dragon Arm set up so far. Good slap here by Beppe, doing a little bit better in the second round, it would seem. And yeah, we're just playing neutral right now. Good trade here for Beppe in my opinion, but pops the rush a little bit too early. Iceman's gonna be able to block it. Not even gonna get the shield break from that. Still, Iceman here is going to recover and just pop the rush. Probably not going to be enough to kill. Yeah, no, not going to be enough to kill, but enough to get the lead. 26 seconds on the clock, and the Ice Dragon is going to finish the job for Iceman, who's going to be able to go 1-0 in this matchup. And yeah, just as a reminder, chat, this is first to 2 to begin with. We're chilling. Kinda. We do have one match to adapt, but it's only one, like... You better be ready to adapt and counterpick. Now here's the thing, I don't really agree with the fact that Beppe let Iceman go to DNA Lab, because that did offer Iceman quite a bit of space to actually charge the Dragon Arm, in my opinion. So I think maybe a little bit more of an aggressive stage would be better. That being said, we are going to go to Mausoleum, so I think Iceman is going to have less space to actually hide and charge the Dragon Arm on this stage. I think, at the very least, I think. But that we shall see. Yeah, immediately a very good grab from Beppe here. Iceman is going to try and charge the Dragon Arm, but also kind of bait Beppe into making a mistake. And that's the big thing. I think that once Iceman gets the Dragon Arm, he's gonna have all the momentum to himself, and Beppe really doesn't want that to happen. Very good grab here in order to get out of the freeze. And Beppe is going in going to try and apply a lot of offensive pressure on Iceman, but Iceman is just going to be able to dodge the rush, and again, only getting hit for 20 damage. Good grab counter, and now Iceman is set up with the Dragon Arm. Gets immediately shut down though by the slap, but a very good catch with that rush is going to land 340 damage. And yeah, Bippy may be panicking just a little bit here. It would seem kind of not really knowing what to do against the ice, and yeah, especially against the Ice Dragon, which is going to just lock down Bippy's movement here. And yeah, Iceman is just going to continue to try and control the stage from a distance. Got the... yeah, this is the Sparky on the Dragon Arm, although it's not charged at the time. The Dragon Arm is not charged. Ooh, the counter rush here is not going to work from Bippy, and unfortunately he's going to lose that rush in that rush exchange. And now Iceman does have the Dragon Arm on deck. Going to be able to get those electric stuns maybe a little bit more consistently, but the Sparky has a pretty shallow stun time. It is still enough though to get that grab at that distance. And now Bippy in a very tough position, needs to get a hard knockdown in order to disable that Dragon Arm, but it is not going to happen, and Iceman is just going to steal the deal with a quick 2-0. Very nicely done by Iceman. And yeah, just like that, Iceman is going to move on to winner's semis. Meanwhile, I believe we are going to go in Yam vs. Raziel. Yeah, apparently top 8 is... a little bit of contention. Okay, yeah, there was a little bit of contention with the rules. Apparently we didn't update the rules on the challenge. Which happens, you know. But we fixed it, and now we are going to get ready for Yam vs. Raziel. So Ireland versus Germany. Most likely, apparently a swap here as well. And yeah, probably... I don't know, because... I'm probably expecting the Raziel from, the Twin Tail from Raziel, and Lola with Yam, but I also think that that Yam's got a couple of characters that he can use here. They can use. And we're gonna go to Mausoleum for the first match in this matchup. Just like that. Ooh, no, we're getting a completely different matchup. Cobra versus Springman. This is not at all what I expected. But yeah, of course we do need to have at least one round of Glorb. It is Europe after all. I will say though, Cobra Glorb is pretty interesting. Because I do think that Cobra's mobility does complement the more erratic movements of the Glorb, so good on Raziel. Meanwhile, we do have Yam with Go Springman. And again, trying to control space as much as possible with the dragon this time, but yeah, very good rush here by Raziel. Also disables the rush from Yam. And yeah, I do really like the Scorpion as well on the Kid Cobra, for that matter. Just because it's a very fast arm. And I do love the dot damage of the Scorpion overall. Since it can be a little bit surprising at times if you're not careful. Still, the first one is going to go to Raziel. Yam is going to try and push the Cobra onto the wall. Still doing an excellent job right now, keeping up the pressure, but Raziel is going to get some space back. Yeah, Raziel's just keeping from a distance. And pops the rush as well. Manages to catch Yam off guard. There's almost 400 damage, I believe, onto Yam. And Yam's got to be very careful here maneuvering. Because one false movement, honestly, and he gets caught by the Scorpion. But still, a very good disable here into the grab. Yam is in criticals, got max mode engaged. Gonna pop the rush, but unfortunately he's going to miss the second part. That's kind of the problem when we play a physics-based game. Is that sometimes the physics just don't work in our favor. But Yam is still perma-charged from being in max mode and is going to be able to claw back the round here. Now going to round 3, Raziel immediately popping the rush very early in this round, only getting the final hit of it as Yam drops block a little bit too soon. Probably trying to go for a punish. The disable here is not going to last very long. Unfortunately, Yam's not going to be able to get anything out of it. The dot damage is set up. Yam is going to be able to go for a counter rush, but unfortunately gets traded here. And is going to get his rush snuffed out. Yam now in max mode. And just like that, that is one dead Yam. Raziel is going to take that first point. What we're looking at here is a much more methodical game than the first one we've looked at. You can see that both players are really trying to rely as much as possible on movement, and you do have Raziel doing an excellent job just keeping Yam away from the supers. And now Yam is going to challenge Raziel to the Cobra Ditto on Mausoleum. Are we do have a Glusher on the field as well. Are we doing the Blob versus Glusher crew battle again? Apparently we are. Apparently we are. But we are equipping those two bouncy arms on the same arm to try and maybe just counter more easily for Yam. But right now, Yam's movement is not being too great. It feels like he's very on the back foot, and maybe the Cobra pick was not the best. Still, we're seeing some good hits coming in, and a shield break though. Raziel is going to be able to find that shield break. And now Yam is completely on the back foot, and since he's playing Cobra, he doesn't have Maxwell to rely on, but still going to be able to get a very good rush in onto Raziel and push him onto the wall. And yeah, Raziel just needed to find that one Scorpio hit in order to seal the deal. And now it's a matter if Yam can actually try and find a way to move maybe a little bit better. We do have the Tri-Blast on deck here, which I think is capable of doing some good chip damage, but at the same time, Raziel did not change the loadouts, but still doing an excellent job just keeping Yam away as much as possible. Also, although he is taking a few gusher hits to the face right now. Still, Yam is still on the back foot. He's going to have to take that dot damage, and once again is getting the rush completely snuffed out of him. The 170 grab is not enough to kill, but the rush is going to seal the deal. And that is going to be a clean 2-0 for Raziel. The Cobra counter pick, unfortunately, not working out for Yam. Maybe on the loser's side? Who knows? We'll see. We'll see how it goes. But yeah, it definitely feels like Yam was quickly stuck with the movement. As I am currently looking at what we have ongoing here, I don't know if there's another match we can catch in the meantime, because the other two Winners Quarters match are going on right now, most likely off stream. They've probably already started. So while we wait, just so you know, there's a few things coming up in the European FGC if you're interested. Most notably, the next Battle for the Den, offered by Wolf TV, will be on the 27th of April at 21 CEST and will be featuring Karnov's Revenge. This tournament is open to Europe and Maghreb and will be held on Fightcade. Free entry, there's a match arena and everything. If you want more information about that, make sure to type in !Wolf TV in the chat. And yeah, feel free to join in because Karnov's a fun game with some weird stuff going on in there as well. So if you fancy just discovering something new or maybe taking the prize, make sure to register by typing in !Wolf TV in the chat. And also coming up on Wolf TV next Tuesday on the 18th of April at 21 CEST will be the free play session, The Playing Grounds, which this time will be dedicated to Real Bout Fatal Fury 2, the newcomers. Once again, we'll be playing on Fightcade, and this is on the 18th of April at 21:30 CEST. This will be on the Wolf TV YouTube channel. So yeah, make sure to check it out. And yeah, by the way, next week I'll be at Mix Up, which should be pretty fun. Is anyone there going at Mix Up in Lyon next week? Because honestly, it's gonna be a fun time. Gonna be playing some Street Fighter, some Vampire Savior. Probably gonna free play on the other games as well. We'll see how it goes. I know a few people are going to be able to test Tekken 8 as well. But I believe it's going to be completely closed off and you're not going to be able to actually watch people play Tekken 8 because it's a closed alpha on site. But either way, it should be a fun time and I would recommend you actually at least watch the stream. Especially if you're interested in watching some... Well, first off, the last Street Fighter V Major in Europe before Street Fighter 6. I think that's a pretty big deal. And also, if you're curious about retro gaming, if you want to see high-level Vampire Savior play, this is definitely the place you should watch. And then, 2 weeks later, there's HFS as well. I won't be at the HFS, unfortunately. But there's going to be a lot of fun stuff going on at HFS, and you should definitely check them out on Twitter, because there's going to be one big international Street Fighter 2 and Street Fighter 3 tournament, as well as Breaker's Revenge and Vampire Savior again, I believe. No, it's not Vampire Savior, it's Alpha 3. They're doing Alpha 3 this year. But yeah, fun IRL stuff coming up, and I believe we are going to be ready for our next matchup, which is going to be Rifa versus Iceman. And Who do we think Rifa is going to play in winner's bracket today? Are we going to see straight up the Misango coming up from the start? Or are we going to see one of the many secondaries of Rifa? So get your predictions ready up in the chat. I don't think we have predictions up in the chat, but you can just like type them in. So there's that. And we're going to go to DNA Lab. I mean, essentially, Rifa mains the entire roster. It's very good with Misango and Ninjara, and then secondary is the entire roster, so that helps. To be fair, Rifa's got some very strong fundamentals, and Rifa's just going to go for the mirror match with the Min today. So that's gonna be fun. Yeah, Rifa, obviously best player in Europe, and has got some very solid fundamentals. Probably the one player who can hold a candle to at least North America. I don't know about Japan. I haven't watched a Japanese tournament in like a bit. I meant to watch like Evo Japan's bracket, but for that I'd need to find the VoD. Because obviously like Japan is still like extremely good and is still practicing regularly, because like it's just easier for Japan to like play games, you know? It's a small island. Works better. But yeah, so far we're looking at a pretty even matchup. We do have Rifa trying to control space with the Lockjaw, but I don't think it's doing too good of a job so far. Being a little bit too slow, a little bit too overcommittal here. But I think Rifa also needs to like warm up, because Iceman's already had a match on stream, so probably feels already a little bit comfortable, and then Rifa probably like swept the previous match. Honestly, I haven't looked at the bracket, but it would make sense that Rifa needs to warm up a little bit here. But still, in all honesty, I don't really think the Lockjaw is going to do much here. You know, Iceman is just sticking to the plan of controlling the zone with the Ice Dragon. And it's got also a lot of... there's also a lot of pillars left on this stage right now. They're not being destroyed, which does allow him to play way more defensively. Like, he's just warping around the pillar here and setting up the Ice Dragon for Rifa to essentially like go into. But right now Rifa is the one with the lead. So just yeah, Rifa's in the lead. I guess he is recognizing the situation right now and not dashing as much as he could have into the Ice Dragon, and we do have the fully charged Lockjaw. Now, that being said, Lockjaw on Dragon Arm is pretty potent because of these explosion projectiles like that with the rush. Unfortunately, here the physics is not going to allow him to get the rush follow-up, but still, right now it is enough of a threat to actually keep Iceman at 1 HP. And yeah, right now Iceman has nothing he can do and just going to take the hit. Which means we're going to round 3. Raziel DMing me the VoD for Evo Japan. Thanks, Raziel. I'll have to take a look afterwards. But yeah, back to the match. Rifa already pushing in. Now that the pillars are gone, it is much easier to have a more aggressive play. Rifa's already done some good damage just from that push in, but Iceman's gonna be able to set up that Dragon Arm with that grab as well. And we do have the Tribolt on Iceman's Dragon Arm here, which potentially could lead to some good confirms, and also just snuff out the movement in general. Because Tribolt is so threatening of an arm. Obviously the medium arms that Rifa has can punch through it, but it can still do some good chip damage and then also get the stun, which can also lead to some tight confirms, potentially. Very good win confirmed though by Rifa to get back here and get that first game on the board. Very nicely done. And now the question is, are we going to see some adjustments from Iceman? I think we're going to still see the Min-Min, or we're just going to go straight back to DNA Lab. It would seem. We're just going to stick to the DNA Lab play in terms of stage. To be fair, I don't think the stage was necessarily a problem. Looking at it, I definitely just think, ooh, but we are going to see the Ribbon Girl switch, however. Yeah, I was about to say the stage wasn't necessarily a problem. I think Iceman was still having a very good time with the stage control. So I fully understand keeping the stage. But yeah, Ribbon Girl with Seiki. Now that is the double-edged sword. Because obviously Seiki, very potent, gets good damage, gets some good stuns as well for quite a bit of time. You're not going to be able to actually like, how to put it, to actually get some confirms early in the game because of those pillars. But at the same time, if Rifa catches that charged Seiki onto Iceman's body, near Iceman's body, Iceman's going to be the one to get parried. And then you have Old Reliable Nate. Don't have much to say about Old Reliable Nate. Very potent arm, lots of freedom of movement on the arm itself. But obviously also has an explosive attribute and could also be a double-edged sword in that situation, but not as much. Like, the hitbox is much more than Seiki, so there's that. And yeah, Iceman already doing a much better job at keeping Rifa at bay. And I think a lot of it comes down to the Seiki, because Rifa kind of has to respect the Seiki in this situation. Get some good slaps onto the nade. 6 seconds on the clock. And unless Rifa wants to pop the rush, I don't think there's much that he can do. He's going to get the grab, and yeah, that's going to be time over. And Aizen once again taking the first round in this encounter. And Rifa is already making adjustments, going for the Seiki, but that's exactly what we meant when we said that Seiki is a double-edged sword, is that it can literally blow back up in your face and then go, give the opponent a confirm. Rifa going to pop the rush, get some good damage in onto Iceman. Iceman just falling a little bit too far to get another part of the rush, but it's okay. It is enough to reset back to neutral and back to mostly even for Rifa. Good disable here from Iceman. Good hard knockdown. And Iceman is just going to go for the rush. Not going to be able to get the second half once again because of the physics. Slow physics. But it doesn't matter. Just like that. That is going to be nade in the face. And Iceman gets a point on the board. Just like that. And yeah, the Ribbon Girl switch doing wonders right now for Iceman. It definitely feels like Iceman is maybe a little bit more free of his movement with the Ribbon Girl. But now he's going to have to win on Rifa's counterpick. Now obviously Iceman can still change characters once the stage is picked, as long as he announces it. This isn't like a traditional fighter, where you just stick with your character. But even then, like, yeah. And yeah, we're going to go to Buster Beach. There's a lot of potential here for a lot of pressure, depending on which part of the stage you're on. Iceman already starting at maybe a slight disadvantage as the hot pocket is right behind him. And yeah, Iceman's already gonna have to retreat to the hot pocket, as Riffa is just going for the poison arm. I don't remember the name on the dragon arm, and then also has a megaton, which is very slow but can also be pretty useful overall to control the space if used properly. It is definitely a gander though, because look, it goes out for so long. It just goes out for so long, it leaves you so vulnerable. So very good rush punish here by Riffa. Iceman is going to see all that damage stack up. Very good. Confirm off of the self-explosion of the Seiki onto Iceman. And Iceman still kind of stuck in the hot pocket. Still, thankfully, out of range of Riffa's arms. But he's going to be able to go in here. Iceman going to get hard knocked down by his own Seiki. And yeah, 20 seconds on the clock and one big megaton in the face. Now going to round 2. Iceman is going to have Tri-Blast Nade here. 2 old reliables here. Riffa in the hot pocket, going straight in the lip, getting out of here. And once again, very good rush punish from Riffa. And yeah, it feels like right now, Iceman is just not able to breathe. He's just not allowed. Look at his poison stacking up as well. And the self-explosions and everything. Yeah, it feels like Iceman right now just cannot breathe. He's suffocating. He's drowning. Someone help him. Someone help that poor ribbon girl. And yeah, that's gonna be, I think, a perfect. No, not quite, I think. Just... the one magic HP is going to save Iceman from the perfect, but still a very, very good showing from Riffa overall. Well, yeah, Iceman completely lost in the second in this third game. Completely lost, didn't know where to go in order to avoid Riffa's onslaught. And got completely shut down. And now we are going to see Razul versus Alistair. Now here's the thing, this could be our first Coil showing of the day. Because again, Coil is just that good of a character. Not as good as people say she is, honestly. I think there's counter to Coil, but she's definitely very hard to deal with. She's like Melee Fox, you know. You can beat Melee Fox, but it's hard. We're going to go straight to Buster Beach for this game. To be fair, it's a good season to go to the beach. Like, you know, it's not too hot. Weather's nice. If you have the opportunity to go to the beach during the spring, honestly, it's a good time. You're probably not going to go in the water. But if you just want to go for a walk, I definitely recommend going to the beach. But they're not here to walk, they're here to fight. And Razul sticking with the Kid Cobra. And already Razul trying to be as far away as the Coil as he can. But honestly, I feel like right now, it's tough to say because yeah, Coil's just going to fly around at the speed of sound, can play very defensively as much as very offensively. Well, that was weird. That might have been lag. But yeah, that's the big thing against Coil, is that you do have to deal with her elevation changes and her air blocks. She is going to get hard knocked down more easily than other characters, but she does have a lot of tools for mobility, for defense, and also sometimes just a third arm, because why not? So very hard character to deal with. The third arm also allows her to build rush much more efficiently overall. So she's just a pretty hard character to deal with, but still, I think she's beatable, you know. Still, Raziel right now is just completely stuck with 1 HP and is going to have to go down here in this first round. And that's kind of the power of Coil. Just being very obnoxious with all the free reign movement that she has is the biggest thing in my opinion, as well as the quick charge on the rush from the third arm. And yeah, right now Raziel just doesn't know where to hit, honestly. Which I don't blame him. It's just tough when you have such a sneaky character on the other side. Raziel does have some good ground movement with Kid Cobra, but I feel like he's not using Cobra's movement to his full advantage right now. And easily is getting stuck by whatever setup Alistair is offering. And I think that's going to be the big thing that Raziel is going to have to work on these next few games, is definitely getting the movement, getting a read on Alistair's erratic movement, and see what he can do to counter it. It's tough sometimes, it's just tough, you know. And we are going to go to Ninja College for the second game. Now this is a risky one, because I feel like Coil, with just her elevation changes, can really be very hard to beat, especially on the top side of college. But Raziel is going to go for the min in order to try and counter the good doctor. But yeah, I would argue that Cobra is not that good on that stage as well, so yeah, the min counter pick would make a little bit more sense. I feel like min just might be less limited by the narrow spaces and the elevation changes of Ninja College, but at the same time I feel like it's pretty unlucky that Alistair got the high ground in this first round, because it does mean that round 3 is going to have the high ground as well. And yeah, right now Raziel is just trying to be very coy in keeping a clapback out to try and counter what Alistair is throwing at him, which is 3 roasters. The roaster is just really good, honestly. The roaster is very fast, very free in terms of movement, and does some good damage. The only thing with Roaster, which keeps it away from Toaster, is that it doesn't have as much aiming, but that does mean as well that you can pretty much fine-tune where the Roaster goes to a fine tee. Raziel unfortunately going to get that rush blocked by Alistair. And yeah, here's the tricky part as well, is that despite the fact that Raziel is doing a decent job at reflecting with the clapback those roaster punches, Alistair can just go above them for free, and yeah, 3 seconds on the clock, there's nothing Raziel can do right now. And now Alistair's on match point. It's just tough. What else can I say? It's just tough, but I definitely don't think that the Ninja College pick really helped here. Really helps here. And Alistair's just going to be able to punish that Hydra as well with the rush. I definitely don't see how Razor wins this, honestly. I don't see the win condition. I do like the Hydra as an anti-air arm, obviously. Said it many times on the stream. But right now, I'm just not seeing the win condition. Which is tough to say. Because as well, with three roasters, it's going to be easy for Alistair to even get those hard knockdowns onto Raz in order to disable any kind of Dragon Arm that he might be trying to set up. And now it's a matter of trying to weave around all of those roaster punches. But yeah, that's not happening. The rush here is going to get snuffed out. Very good grab. Finally gets the Dragon Arm. But I almost feel that this is too little too late. Alistair going for the rush. Razor being very patient, managing to punish it. But yeah, Razor still has to go in on the Doctor, and that is not going to happen against that onslaught of roasters. That is going to be a clean 2-0 for Alistair and for the good Doctor. Yeah, just like that. Just a very clean sweep right now from Alistair. And now we're gonna have Rifa taking a shot at Alistair. Now mind you, Rifa does have a lot of coil experience, obviously. I would argue that most players in this bracket do, but it's just that coil is tough to counter when she's being played at an optimal level. So there's that. Yeah, before we go into winners finals, just as a reminder, I am part of Wolf TV, and if you're curious about more fighting games, Battle for the Den is happening on the 27th of April at 21 CEST, and will be featuring Karnov's Revenge, which will be played on Fightcade. This is a free-to-enter tournament, and if you are interested in it, you can type in !Wolf TV in the chat in order to register. It will be streamed on YouTube as well, on the Wolf TV YouTube channel. So if you're just curious to see what the game looks like, then feel free to join, honestly. And again, this is on Fightcade, so you know, free to enter, free to play, free to everything. It's great. And also coming up next week at the Playing Grounds of free play sessions at Wolf TV will be Real Fatal Fury 2 The Newcomers, which is a very fun game which has a few 3D elements, which came out as well on the Neo Geo, and we'll be playing that on Fightcade, and this will be on the 18th of April at 21:30 CEST. So yeah, if you are interested in seeing some new games, then feel free to check it out. It will be streamed on YouTube and everything, so yeah, this should be fun. And we are going to be ready for winners finals. Alistair versus Rifa. First game is going to be on Temple Grounds, or as I like to call it, Europe Grounds. And we are going to see the Ninjara coming out from Rifa. Now the Ninjara makes sense, because Rifa's Ninjara has proved to be a very good counter pick to Dr. Coil. Just because I don't, Misango has a really tough time overall dealing with the good Doctor. And so Rifa has with his Ninjara secondary, does quite a bit better sometimes against the good Doctor in snuffing out the movement and also teleporting out of danger, because that's one of the big features of Ninjara, obviously, is his teleport. Which is just a very good tool to have, honestly, when you have like 60 punches going through your head. You just need to like kind of know where to teleport. And it can also be very very tough against rushes, because you can teleport, you cannot block in the traditional sense. So more often than not, what is going to happen is you're going to try to block the rush, and you're just going to teleport into the rush. Ooh, very nice punish of that grab from Alistair with the rush. Gets a good deflect here. The River is still chipping away at Alistair's health. Still sitting on a full rush as well, so Alistair has to pretty much be very respectful. I also do think that River is in the right in trying to use the Ice Dragon in this matchup. Just because a core without movement is very weakened. And I do feel like having an Ice Arm overall, yeah, that's gonna kill! Holy crap, that's actually gonna kill. I was about to explain how the Ice Arms could actually snuff out the Coil, but yeah, no, Alistair just doesn't care, going to pop the rush and going to get the kill. And secure that first round, despite a very good, very solid advantage overall from Rifa during the whole round, honestly. Because yeah, Rifa's chipping away job, just working really well. Just has to defensively be a little bit more careful in order to avoid being in rush range, honestly. Because as long as Rifa is not in rush range, I feel like he's playing pretty safe. And getting some very safe chip aways. It's like slow and steady, you know, slow and steady. Now, both players being extremely patient right now. Alistair does have a quarter health less than Rifa. And Rifa is still doing an excellent job just keeping up the pressure. Gets the grab as well. Alistair on the back foot here. And Rifa is not in rush range yet, but Alistair could still pop the rush and get some good damage in. I don't think that Fun Shock Roaster does that much damage in terms of a rush compared to some others. And yeah, Rifa's going to be able to take that round upon time over. And now we're going to go straight into game 3, round 3, sorry. And overall, both players just moving around a lot more. Alistair has recognized that Rifa's game plan was consisting of just chipping away at his health as much as possible. And both players are really respecting each other's rush. Because one false movement and then that can happen. Very good. Explosion confirmed. That's confirmed from Rifa. Going to put himself in the lead. And now we're back to the same game plan of chipping away at Alistair's health as much as possible. Rifa unfortunately not going to be able to avoid that rush though, but still has a very solid health advantage. 52 seconds on the clock though, anything is possible. Alistair's probably going to quickly get that rush back. Probably at about the same time as Rifa, honestly. Given the third arm, I wouldn't be surprised. And yeah, it's already showing, like, Alistair building rush like crazy. Rifa already sitting on full rush. But one more punch through, and yeah. Ooh, very good catch though, with the rush. Going to ensure that the first game goes to Rifa. And yeah, as I said, Rifa's Ninjara is a very good counter pick to Coil, or at least the European Coils. Just because of the movement, not relying on any setups or everything, Ninjara is a pretty simple character, which means that he doesn't have like a set game plan that he really wants to have. Unlike some setup characters where you know they want to go for the setup. And so I feel like it allows overall Rifa in getting more freedom in how to chip away at Alistair's health. But Alistair's going to have to make some adjustments here. Because essentially if it weren't for that rush, even that first round would be lost. at this point. So it really feels like Alistair's defense needs to go up a notch. Because Rifa is just doing more damage on the long game. And still, Rifa is also very pertinent in getting those rushes. Alistair is probably going to get most of those rushes no matter what, just because, again, teleport. But, yeah, right now, it's just about Rifa just keeping Alistair away as much as possible. Getting some good hits in with the Tri-Blast as well. Yeah, I had a little game, it's just Rifa's got better movement. Ooh, and Rifa's gonna be able to escape that rush for once, thanks to the almighty pillar of Temple Grounds, and with the grab, that is going to be it. Also, mind you, chat, we are in first to free territory now. Which means more opportunities to adapt. We're not rushed by time on Alistair's side. But it do be pretty scary to fight Rifa. And Alistair right now needs to figure something out to just not take as much damage. He does have a health lead here, but it's very, very shallow, honestly. And we can kind of see that Alistair's movement is getting a lot more sneaky going to that round 2. Just going up and down a lot more. And trying to be unpredictable with the height. But right now it's not going to matter if Rifa can continue to get some solid hits in. And Rifa also tries as much as possible to stay out of range of the different arms, it feels like. Good parries here from Alistair. Do some very good blocks. Still gets hit by the Tri-Blast. Now 20 seconds on the clock. Both players have rush. Rifa is going to get a grab. But potentially Rifa is still in rush range. And also preemptively activates rush. Thankfully gets the full confirm into the rush from the blast. And that is going to be game 2 going to Rifa. We're going to go into game 3 with Alistair completely on the back foot here. And yeah, I just feel like Alistair was doing a lot better here in being unpredictable with the altitude changes. But it only took one Tri-Blast for it to completely go to hell. And we are going to go to Buster Beach for this game 3. And yeah, sticking with the coil. No reason to change. We're sticking to we're sticking with the coil. Now here's the thing. I do think that the beach counter pick here is to try and get Rifa into the hot pocket and then lay down a lot of aggressive pressure. I think that's the game plan. Although we do have an Ice Dragon coming out from Alistair. Ice Dragon is for movement, essentially. Ice Dragon is there to snuff out the movement from Rifa, because this is what actually caught Alistair off guard a lot. Is that Rifa's got some good defensive movement. And understands the movement of the game at a level that other European players do not necessarily understand it. And we're still looking at a very even match overall. Like, this could go either way. 42 seconds on the clock. This could go either way at this point. But I do think that having those doubles on the Ice Dragon very scary, honestly. Because we're not looking at a stage that is as wide as Temple Grounds. So being snuffed out very quickly by two Ice Dragons coming from the side is definitely going to hamper your movement. And because Riffa just cannot block, because Ninjara cannot block as a character, it's just going to be very good. And yeah, Alistair's going to be able to take that first round with lots of difficulty, but we do see the power of having the two Ice Dragons loaded up on that third arm. It's doing a lot of work, especially in this tighter stage. Doing a lot of work. Riffa going in, going for the rush. Able to catch Alistair off guard here, right in his face. But Riffa is going to get pushed into the hot pocket. And this is where it gets scary. Like, sure, you have just that little bit much width to work with as Riffa. It does get scary. Riffa, however, is going to push back with a lot of Tri-Blasts. And right now, Alistair is completely on the back foot here. Riffa completely reversing the momentum going into this. And now Riffa's on match point. And Alistair's just gonna give up on the Ice Dragon for round 3. Going back to Funchuck. I'm probably going to try and impose a completely different rhythm that Riffa is going to have to respond to. There's a lot of trading happening here in terms of arm versus arm. Right now it is profiting Alistair way more, who's going to be able to find a rush as well. Riffa very much on the back foot here in critical. He is going to have to try and be maybe a little bit more aggressive onto that coil, but at the same time, the coil being very aggressive means that you cannot really afford to be aggressive because there's so much stuff coming in at your face. That gets very scary very fast. Riffa going for a counter rush here. Able to get some good damage in. Almost came back from his health deficit. But now this is a very scary situation because the rush is here and Riffa is unfortunately going to have to fall right into it. That is going to be a point to Alistair, saving that match point over here. Yeah, there's just not enough room in that hot pocket to avoid that rush. Unfortunately, so Riffa's just gonna have to eat it. And yeah, I do see why Riffa would want to go back to Temple Grounds. Just to have that little bit more space to move around in. And not get checkmated by rushes nearly as much. Anyway, we're sticking to the Ninjara, obviously. Because again, Ninjara is not the problem here, in my opinion. Although he is in those rush situations, because it can get pretty hairy. But I still think he's doing a better job than Riffa's Misango would do. It's a safe bet. Yeah, Riffa once again trying to be very patient. As we were saying, he has a lot more space to move around in. Going to be much safer to move around in Temple Grounds than he was in Buster Beach. Gonna be able to get the rush as well, and now he's sitting on a very good health advantage as we're getting into the 35-second mark. And yeah, that's the part where Alistair kind of needs to actually land the rush if he wants to go back into this game. That's the tough part. But just hiding behind the pillar as much as possible. 15 seconds on the clock. It's looking almost impossible right now for Alistair to come back from this. 10 seconds on the clock, and the grab is going to finish it off right here. And that is another match point to Rifa. But that's the thing. I don't know if Alistair would have benefited from banning Temple Ground, honestly. Because I do feel like it gives Rifa just that much space to work with in order to not get hit. But at the same time, it should give that same amount of space to Alistair. But still. So far still though, Alistair is going to have the health advantage in the second round. We are 62 seconds onto the clock. No one's dropped under 90%, by the way, at this point. But the arm is weak onto Rifa, and that could mean, potentially, if this arm goes down, a rush opportunity for Alistair in order to get a very clear advantage. Ooh, but good dodges from Rifa. Unfortunately, still eats the last part of the rush. And a very good grab. It's going to put essentially Alistair out of rush range in terms of health with that combination. And now Rifa's playing from behind. And this is kind of where it rolls downhill from here, potentially. 30 seconds on the clock. Rifa finds the rush. Gets back a little bit into the game. I think almost gets the lead. No, doesn't quite get the lead. 10 seconds on the clock. One hit. One hit is all Rifa needs right now to win this match and move on to grand finals. But unfortunately, Alistair's going to be the one to get the hit. And that is going to be round 2, Alistair. We're going to round 3. And already Alistair getting a very early hard knockdown. Already asserting a lot of dominance onto Rifa. Finally adapting to Rifa's movement, honestly. Very good grab though by Rifa in order to answer back and get back into that game. This is very back and forth so far. I think the momentum is going to shift once one of them gets like any kind of leeway. Alistair right now does get some very consistent hard knockdowns. But Rifa is still chipping away at his health. And I think the moment the momentum shifts is if someone either gets or misses the rush at this point, because both are still sitting on rush. Remember, Alistair, however, is stuck in the corner, going to try and go for the parry rush in order to get out. Gets part of the rush? Interesting physics here. Rifa is still sitting on his rush though. He's gonna have to use it soon, it would feel like, because yep, just like that, he's going to get anti-aired to death. And now we're in a 2-2 situation. With, yeah, Alistair's starting to see the patterns in Rifa's movement. And finally managing to get the advantage here. In terms of catching the ninja. And we're going straight back to Temple Grounds. Just straight back. We're already trying to set up some movement traps for Alistair to avoid. Alistair is going to get hit here. And one thing I noticed as well, Alistair doesn't like the pillars. In this matchup specifically, Alistair doesn't like the pillars. Because Riffa's just going to be able to hide behind them very easily. So I feel like it would be in Alistair's benefit to open up the stage as early as possible. And get rid of those pillars. But yeah, Riffa already taking a very strong lead in that round 1. Now it's already looking tough for Alistair to actually get some leeway, and we're already seeing the pillars go down as well. Riffa managing to avoid the rush here. This is big. This is the push that Riffa needs in order to keep the lead up. I do believe that Alistair though is going to be able to build that rush back before the end of the round, but I don't think it is going to be just quick enough to get any kind of significant damage onto Riffa. Yeah, 10 seconds on the clock. I think this is just a free round for Riffa at this point. Rush or no rush, but we do have Alistair going into round 2 with the rush ready. Which is big, because both are going to be starting up in an unequal playing field. Although like that grab is definitely going to give a very early advantage to Alistair. Yeah, this is exactly as I was saying. With the pillars down, Riffa has nowhere to hide. And it just helps Alistair just a lot right now in getting the damage that he needs to get onto Riffa. It's already showing as Riffa is under half health. Riffa going for the rush. Unfortunately, the physics of the game will tell him to go away. I was trying to be as cordial as possible here. And yeah, Alistair's just going to continue to lay the smackdown onto Riffa. There's still 40 seconds on the clock. It is still kind of possible for Riffa to make a comeback from here. But it's going to be very tough because, again, Riffa just cannot hide here. Has to be extremely aggressive. And I feel like Alistair, yeah, is just going to sit and shield as much as possible. Going to go for the timeout here. This is clearly timeout play here. And it shows. We're not be able to just jump over the grab as well. And we are now going to the final round of Winners Finals. Now that's the thing, Riffa needs to have some early momentum going in order to get the advantage over Alistair right now. At the same time, the same is true for Alistair. I feel like, once again, ooh, very good rush punish from Riffa here. Gonna snuff out Alistair's rush. But we're going to take it slow. Alistair's going to quickly build back rush. In about like 5 seconds it's ready, honestly. Gets the self-explosion onto Riffa as well. And just like that, we're back to even. Riffa is going to try and go for rush, but unfortunately this one is not destined to land, and now Alistair has the rush. Riffa's gonna have to be very careful maneuvering around a very threatening Dr. Coil right now. Riffa trying to stay out of range as much as possible. Knows he has the health advantage. Probably not anymore. Very hard to tell at this point. Finally gets a hard knockdown onto Alistair with the Tri-Blast. Good stun from Alistair though. Not going to be able to get any confirm off of it. 20 seconds on the clock. It is really close. And Alistair's going to find the rush. Riffa completely stuck in the corner. Probably going to... yeah, it's probably start to panic here. Alistair is going to just eat the damage here because he knows that as long as this is not a rush, there is no way that Riffa can come back from this. And just like that, that is going to be Alistair finishing off the reverse Frio against Rifa, and moving on to the winner's side of Grand Finals. Yeah, one hit sometimes. One hit is enough for everything to crumble away. And that is just the cruelty of fighting games. Especially at that level. A very good adaptation from Alistair. Again, just needed to open up Temple Grounds a little bit. And just like that, it was over for Rifa. Because essentially Rifa has nowhere to run. Yeah, as for the bracket right now, we are waiting on the results from Iceman versus Yam. We do have Razor already waiting in loser semis. But Iceman versus Yam is still ongoing. And I don't know where they're at, honestly. So we're just gonna wait and talk together, chat, I think. What's your opinion of the Mario movie? The new one, not the old one. The old one, we all know everyone's opinion on the old one. But the new one, the one in the cinema. What's your opinion of it? I think it was pretty good. Obviously, like, it's a Mario movie with a Mario story, which means it has no story. But visually, and in terms of music, I thought it was excellent. The voice acting is a little bit uneven in my opinion. Like, Chris Pratt is very low-key. But at the same time, you do have Jack Black going in like crazy in my opinion. I haven't watched it in French yet. I need to do that because I wanted to watch it in French as well. And see how the French dub does. Out of curiosity. But the problem is that going to the cinema is so expensive, chat. Like, I'm sorry. But I believe having a seat at the cinema is like, what, 10 euros? 11 euros? It's ridiculous, honestly. I can buy DVDs for that price. Like, let me check. Yeah, that's the one. 14 euros to go to the cinema. I can buy DVDs for that price. Kind of ridiculous. It's like, it really makes you ask, why would I go to the cinema, you know? Give me a second, chat. I need to reconnect to the lobby. Give me a second, chat. Sorry about that. We're back. I should not be using that controller for tournaments. Like, it's a very nice. I have the 8-bit Duo Ultimate, in case you don't you know. This controller, it's a very, very good controller. It's got like Hall effect sticks, or whatever it's called. You know, the ones that are supposedly no drift and are in the Dreamcast controller. I don't remember the name. I think it's Hall effect drift, Hall effect sticks. I'm not too sure. But what I really like is the clicky buttons. They're not as clicky as something like the Hori Battle Pad, which is also an like the Hori, not Battle Pad, the Hori Commander Octa is excellent as well, by the way, and I would definitely recommend it. Even for arms, obviously, it's really good for arms. Because of the clicky buttons and precise D-pad, and it's got an octagonal gate on the stake as well. Would definitely recommend it for arms. But the 8-bit Duo Ultimate Controller is just a good everyday controller. But the problem when you do tournaments is that it does disconnect from time to save battery, which makes sense, you know. But it also means that you're gonna disconnect from the lobby if I just leave it idle for so long. And yeah, it would seem that Iceman has made it out of the previous set, so we are going to see Iceman versus Raziel. And I think they might be doing random picks. Yeah, apparently they are doing random picks for this match. Which should be fun. Also means I need to like set all the stages. No, we're not putting Sky Arena, chat. We are not putting Sky Arena. I mean, technically, if we gentleman it, we could. But we're not doing it. And yeah, we're back to first to two, chat. Because it is loser semi, so we're back to first to two. That is just how it works. Raziel playing with fire here. I'm reading the Discord chat at the same time. And yeah, Raziel negotiated literally having everything. So, okay. Welcome to Ranked! Welcome to Ranked, everybody. Here we go. And our first stage is going to be redacted. Oh my god. Oh my god, we're in for a trip. Now, if you've never seen redacted before, you're in for a trip. Like, you see those test tubes? They're not breakable. And you also have the moving platform in the middle. The conveyor belt. So yeah, you're in for a trip. Good grab here from Raziel. I can't commentate this. I can't commentate this. I should be able to, but I can't. And yeah, Iceman unfortunately going to miss out on the rush here. Raziel continuing to do a very good job. He's just gonna be able to just hide behind the test tubes at this point. This is a mess. What is this? Like, Escape from the Banished? Oh my god. But yeah, good catch from Raziel on that rush. So yeah, how to put it? This is a very polarizing stage, I will say. I will say, not the worst though. There's definitely like worse stages to pick in this game. Like when you've got things like Snake Park and Cinema Do, there's definitely some worse picks in the game, but it's still not great, you know. You gotta have to deal with the test tubes kind of acting like walls at all times that are just moving around. So, you know, not an amazing situation to be in. Regiel still is doing a very good job just ensuring that Iceman doesn't get his way. And to be fair, I feel like the Ninjara random here is helping a lot. Just getting around with the movement and avoiding Redacted's traps. And yeah, just like that, that is going to be your first game to Raziel. See, we should have predictions on for these. I wish I had like a way to just start predictions from the software, you know? I'm gonna have to put in a feature request for that. Because imagine if from a button I could just start the prediction bot. That would be fun. But yeah, and now we're on Ramen Ball. Okay, this is going to be a little bit better. And yeah, Raziel's gonna have to deal with the girth of the mummy, while Iceman is going to have to play around with the defensiveness of Ribbon Girl. Also has a nade. Like, that was a pretty lucky draw. Does have a nade. And a Slapamander. But at the same time, the nade is just not gonna go through Raziel's armor, so there's that. Still a very good arm to have. Still does a very good job at chipping away at Raziel's health here. Raziel trying to heal just a little bit, because Mommy can do that. This is how you make a bulky character in a game where everyone has the same health, chat. You just allow them to heal when blocking. That's how it works. And also you give them lots of super armor. But yeah, Iceman already doing a lot better in this situation. Like, you can see that there's no weird stuff going on with the stage. Just the fact that there's just a giant ball. And if you're not careful, you can easily get stuck into it, honestly. But yeah, Raziel here going for double whammer. Which is definitely an interesting pick. By the way, shoutouts to Pocoyan, who's actually making the whammer work on Mechanica. Fun stuff. But I feel like it's not an easy arm to use, honestly. Like, the whammer is just, it's got that weird trajectory. It's not as fast as you would think, even like looking at it. It's got a weird trajectory, but it's not super fast. There's no overhead hits in arms, so you know. Ooh, very good catch though by Iceman. He's gonna seal the deal, and that is going to be 1 point to Iceman. Yeah, double whammer, you're not gonna get very far if you don't know exactly how to use the whammer movement to your advantage. And unlike Kablammer, you don't have the damage either. It's just 2 stun arms. So it's tough. And now it would seem like we are going to have a Misango versus Max Breast matchup for game 3. It would seem so, at the very least. Razio is predicting Snake Park. No, it's going to be Buster Beach, like... Calm down, Razio, calm down. This is fine. And now Razio is sad. But yeah, look, it's Riffa versus Grimwood. Anyways, Iceman already going for Blue Mask on Misango, getting that speed. Going to try and get those hard knockdowns onto the brass with the revolver. And so far it's working, like, Iceman is just doing a very good job just keeping Razio on the ground. But still, very good Thunderbird here from Razio. Getting a good stun here. And that's the big thing as well. Raz does some good damage, especially with the grab. And then if you put him in critical, he's gonna be in max mode. He's gonna be in rage. Iceman in yellow. Now Razio has to respect the rush. Doesn't need to. He doesn't need to. He's just gonna get the Thunderbird. Yeah, another Thunderbird. I feel like Razio overall is doing a very good job just catching Iceman off guard with the Thunderbird. And once again, the Thunderbird. The Thunderbird. The Thunderbird. You got one new message. And no, that email notification going off. Yeah, going to round 2, Razio's still doing an excellent job. Just shutting down Iceman as much as possible. But Iceman is on Red Mask, has got opportunity for armor, but we do have the dragon on the other side who's going to be able to just shut down that armor pretty easily as we move around. And yeah, just like that, I think Iceman is dead. Yeah, Iceman is just dead. That's gonna be a clean game for Razio, who's gonna move on to Losers Finals at the end of that random set. Like, literally random. I don't have any other adjectives to actually, like, you know, qualify this. But yeah, it happens. It was worth a shot. Also, I just realized the stream is in 30 FPS. Have I been streaming in 30 FPS for the whole time? Oh well. My bad, chat. My bad. And now Riffa is attempting the random gauntlet for Losers Finals. Okay. Well, that's gonna be fun. Yeah, let's just go in. Double shield springman for Razio. That's gonna be tough. And this is first to 3 now, so yeah, we're gonna have a lot of this, a lot more of this. Yeah, I don't think those draws are gonna be that great, honestly. We'll see. We'll see. We are going to see Via Dolce come up. Which at least Via Dolce is a legal stage, you know. This is going to be a this is going to be a trip. This is gonna be a trip. There we go. Double shield springman. I mean, so far it works, I guess. So far it works. It's gonna be very tough though. Thankfully, we do have the fact that Via Dolce is a very narrow stage. So that's definitely going to have to count for something. But yeah, Rifa's just going to be able to get the 4 rushes as well for the funny number of damage. I mean, that's just what is happening today. It's just, we're having fun. We're getting very funny numbers of damage and everything. Rifa's arm is low, but unfortunately not going to be able to get anything out of that stun. Very good grab from Rifa, and that is going to seal the deal. And now we're going into round 2. Still doing double shields. Meanwhile, we have double missile from Rifa. Double homie. I mean, Rifa is a homie, I will say that much. So, you know, it makes sense. Also, I haven't reversed the scores chat. Sorry about that. Just happens. Rifa being very patient right now. He knows he's got the advantage, so he can just be very patient. And yeah, 245 just from one hit of the rush. Those homies do damage. Razor going for the shield rush. Not gonna be able to get it. And now Razor is backing out in the corners, trying to be a little bit more aggressive, but yeah, just like that. That is going to be first point to Rifa. Very convincingly. So yeah, not the best draw for Raziel on this one. And now what we're looking at in terms of matchup is going to be Mechanica versus Ninjara. Rifa with the Ninjara, by the way, so not a good draw either. It's not gonna be a great draw either. On Ninja College as well. I don't think Ninja College is going to be that influential, but yeah. We do have Glusher Rifa right now on the field. I mean, so far Razzle is doing a lot of work with that Chakram. I do feel overall the Chakram is pretty good for snuffing out Rifa's movement as well as getting some good stun. Rifa's just going to be able to avoid the rush though, which could be the momentum shift that he needs to actually get in, but no, so far Rifa is just not able to get in actually. This is tough. This is tough, like Razzle is just putting out hitboxes all over to prevent Rifa from going in. So yeah, maybe it's time for Rifa to just fall back just a little bit. And that is what is happening right now. Hydra is not too great here in this situation because Razzle is just wants to stay on the ground anyways. But it still offers opportunities for a hard knockdown, so yeah. Plus the dot damage still applies to armored characters, potentially, so there's that. But yeah, Rifa's starting to mount a comeback thanks to that rush. Getting the momentum he needs, but he cannot afford to get hit. Or else that will all be for naught. One more hit for Rifa, one more hit. Being very patient here on both sides. And Razzle is still going to be able to maintain the lead. Just good, just lots of patience here. We don't need to rush. Literally, like both players have rush now. They can use it. Yeah, there's no need to rush. Rifa's going to be able to find a little bit of the rush, but unfortunately the physics are not going to allow him to finish it. Good Hydra hit from Rifa. Continuing the onslaught with the Hydra. The Raziel is going to answer back with the rush. 275 damage is not that much, but it's definitely something. Still the Armored in the corner. Always a little bit tough for Rifa to get out, but finally gets out. Raziel on the back foot. I don't think Armor can do much for him now. I mean, did save him from getting killed by that Chakram, but yeah, that one is just not great. And now we're going into round 3. Rifa attempting a no-fire run on this one. Which means he's not going to be able to get much of a knockdown, or just much of a stop onto Raziel. It's just going to make that so much harder, honestly, for Rifa. But at the same time, the dot damage is starting to stack up, and I feel like Rifa might start to get reliant on that dot damage. Unfortunately, the teleport is going to ensure that Raziel gets that rush off on Rifa. Okay, that damage is starting to stack up on Raziel. Another stack of dot damage. Another stack of dot damage. We're still at 2 apiece. And with the rush, that is going to be enough for Rifa to steal the deal. Now we're gonna go on to game 3. I can't talk about adaptation when it's random chat. That's the problem. Ooh, Cobra Mirror. Now that's a fun one. We're gonna get Cobra Mirror. Not to mention that Raziel is going to have access to Cobra Brawl. Now the question, and we're going to go to Temple Grounds. It is a... how to put it? Now it's a kind of real match. Double Brawl on Raziel. Here we go. But yeah, Rifa just being very patient right now. Being very sneaky as well with the movement as much as possible. And Rifa is also going to get a very early rush in. Not going to be able to get the full extent of it though. Almost gets punished for it as well. But yeah, right now it's looking very tough for Raz. I'm not gonna lie. Like, I get that you like Blorb, but maybe just 2 of them wasn't the best idea. Yeah, that's exactly what I meant. Like, now we have the buff to actually support the Blorb. Rifa still trying to play keep away with the Lockjaw. Also has a C key on deck for potential confirms. And just like that, is going to be full confirm into the rush, 415 damage. So you know, now Rifa is in an excellent position to go into Grand Finals, potentially. Raziel is starting to chip away at Rifa's health. Slowly but surely gets the advantage back. Unfortunately misses the rush, not going to be able to get any conversion. I mean, I don't even know what conversion he was looking for here, honestly. Gets the self-destruct though on that C key. Getting some good damage. Rifa being very patient, pops in rush, and 400 damage. Yeah, that's just gonna melt. Melt that life bar. And Rifa is going to be able to take the random set a full 3-0 and move on to Grand Finals. After that little escapade, you know. Because in all honesty, I don't think Alistair is going to take the random bait. I don't see it at the very least. I don't see Alistair taking the random bait. But we'll see, we'll see. After all, Alistair does have the reset to play around with. So worst case scenario, we could still see a set of random before we go into Grand Finals reset, potentially. We'll see. But yeah, before we start Grand Finals, I would like to remind you once again that in terms of what I do at Wolf TV, Battlefield will return on the 27th of April at 21 CEST with some Karnov's Revenge. This will be open to Europe and Maghreb and will be played on 5K, so it's like completely free to enter if you want to, if you're curious about the game. So yeah, feel free to enter. Type in !Wolf TV in the chat if you want to enter. This will be streamed on YouTube as well, on the Wolf TV YouTube channel. So yeah, feel free to check it out because Karnov's Revenge is a very fun game. And also next week at the Playing Grounds, our free play sessions that we are doing at Wolf TV, we'll be doing Real About Fatal Fury 2, the newcomers on Fightcade. So this is just a chill free play session. You can just jump in, fight me. We'll kind of discover the game together. This will be on the 18th of April at 21:30 CEST on the Wolf TV YouTube channel. But yeah, it would seem like we are going to be ready for our Grand Finals. As I expected, Alistair is not taking the random bait. And we are going to go to Temple Grounds. We will see a lot of... I feel we will see a lot of Temple Grounds. And we are going to keep with the Ninjara. It makes sense, you know, it makes sense. Now the question is... will Alistair continue with the strategy of actually taking down the pillars in order to ensure that Rifa has no way to get out of here? Because I still feel like in the previous match, in the winners finals match, Rifa had a very much an advantage at going around those pillars. But so far, Alistair doing an excellent job getting some early damage here. And pretty much taking a kind of an early lead, which is not something we saw too much in winners finals. But yeah, as I say that though, Rifa is starting to make his way back in terms of damage output. Playing a lot around Ninjara's dodge as well. But I feel like at any moment, Alistair can press that faded rush button or just get the stun confirmed. That works too. Very efficient. But yeah, Rifa once again on the offensive. Getting some good damage in onto Alistair. Alistair just almost got rushed back, by the way. Because, you know, that's scored for you. River is going to pop the rush. And I think just that little bit of hit would be enough to actually get him the lead and get that first round. Just like that. Now going to round 2. River still backing out, still trying to avoid as much of what Alistair has to offer as possible. But it's rough, honestly, it's rough. Both players being very even right now, being very careful. If we're only committing from a distance so far. Weaving in and out of Alistair's range. Tries to go for rush. Alistair's going to be able to easily block it. We do have a weak arm on Alistair's side. 38 seconds, by the way, and we're still at the, well, I was about to say at almost full health, but no, Alistair finally lost a good chunk here. Gets the hard knockdown though onto River. Has rush. River has built rush back up. Alistair gets the hard knockdown. And yeah, Alistair's just going to be able to punish with the rush here. And I think that might just be round for, to Alistair after that one. Yeah, nothing River can do, really. And honestly, I'd rather keep the rush for the next round. Understandable. And now we're going to go into round 3 with a lot of evenness. I feel like we are seeing so far kind of a repeat of the final winners finals matches. With River taking the first round and then Alistair coming back. But River is handling the fact that the pillars are gone much more efficiently right now. So Alistair is getting a lot of toaster hits right now. Getting a lot of hard knockbacks. Knockdowns. And yeah, River is more than happy right now to play the stalemate. Alistair delaying the rush to catch River off guard. Very nicely done. Good 1-2. Alistair's back in the lead. River is going to be able to explode Drive Blast into his face. It is very tense right now. River trying to punish with the rush. Unfortunately not able to get anything done. We are going to put Alistair to 1 health thanks to chip damage. Alistair is going to be able to find the final hit of his rush. 9 seconds on the clock, and right now River has the health advantage, but is 1 hit away potentially from dying. So everything could happen in those last few seconds, and River is going to masterfully avoid Alistair's pressure and get that first game on the board. Very good patience by River. As we are going to go into game 2. But that's the thing, River does have to win 6 games to actually win the tournament, so there's that. And yeah, Alistair's just gonna take it back to Buster Beach, knowing that River just doesn't have as much room to avoid coil stuff on the beach. That's gonna be a big factor, honestly. So yeah, going in. Rifa being very careful how he works around all of it. Very good grab here. Very nicely done. And yeah, Alistair already a little bit on the back foot here. Rifa already handling Buster Beach a lot better, honestly, than in the Winners Finals match. Ooh, but he is going to get snuffed out of this rush here, and that is going to be a huge momentum shift for Alistair potentially. If he can get in. Alistair's already trying to push Rifa onto the hot pocket. He knows that if Rifa is stuck into the hot pocket, it is going to be very tough for him to get out. He already did some good damage just trying to push him there, honestly. Rifa answering back. He does have Rush available once again. Managed to mitigate the loss of his Rush. And yeah, that counter not gonna pass. 7 seconds on the clock. Both players still very close in terms of health. 1 second on the clock. And that is going to be a timeout in favor of Alistair. This is just one of these situations where, yeah, we're being very patient here on both sides. Still working from afar. Rifa trying to push Alistair into the hot pocket. Ice trade here for Alistair. Going to go in favor of Alistair. Because we're knocked down. So Rifa doing some good damage in here. Trying to go for Rush, but he is going to get snuffed out once again. Thankfully, Alistair is not going to get the full extent of his Rush either. Alistair still playing from behind. Gets a good laser hit. Rifa still controlling the pace of the match very well right now with the Tri-Blast, with the Ice Dragon. He knows he cannot afford to let Alistair get any kind of leeway in this matchup, but he is going to be stuck here in the hot pocket. But just manages to get the opening and snuffs out the good doctor as we are going to go into round 3. Alistair finding the rush here. Getting some good starting damage. Pushes Rifa into the lip. Rifa gets out very quickly, but once again gets snuffed out of his rush. Alistair doing an excellent job making sure that Rifa has access to no rush whatsoever. And Alistair's continuing to push Rifa into the hot pocket. It's not looking too great. We're a ninja over here, but he is going to start to push back. Still, this is going to be a very tough situation to get back from. Especially as Alistair has Rush once again. Rifa is soon going to have Rush, but we have seen before that he cannot be too reliant on it, or else Alistair is just going to stop him right in his tracks. Rifa maybe just a little bit scared, honestly, to press the button at this point, which is understandable. 26 seconds on the clock. Rifa has to find something now, some kind of momentum. Gets the ice here. Alistair's just going to fly away. Just fly and fly away. And Alistair's just going to find the rush, and that's going to be it. Alistair gets one on the board. Just like that. And now we're gonna move on to round 3. game 3. And we are, of course, going to go back to Temple Grounds. As this is definitely one place where River knows he can do well against Alistair. In this situation. And now the question is how much Alistair has adapted and gotten back into the flow of things. Because that is where it gets scary, honestly. And it's also going to be a battle for the pillars, most likely. Because, once again, Ripper knows that he's got a good advantage if those pillars can stay up. And he can hide behind them. But at the same time, it's very easy to destroy those pillars. About as easy as hacking a 3DS. So there might not be that much opportunity to actually keep the pillars up, and I feel like Ripper right now is getting a little bit trapped and just playing around those pillars just a little bit too much. Very good grab here. Alistair is now back into Ripper's health range. 41 seconds on the clock. Ripper is going to lure Alistair out. Try and protect those last two pillars. Alistair's just gonna go for rush. Ripper's able to avoid. And right now Ripper is going for a preemptive rush? Maybe finding some kind of weird opening onto Alistair, but still manages to take the round. But I do believe the stage is clear of all pillars right now. Yep. And now Alistair's in a good situation, once again. And Ripper's gonna have to work around it. Oh, there's still one. Didn't even see that one. Yeah, Ripper right now is left completely open. Trying to apply a lot of pressure, trying to go for a cheeky ice chain as well. Goes for rush. Manages to catch Alistair's rush miraculously, honestly. Kind of miraculously here. And now, Ripper is in an excellent position. Alistair maybe starting to get a little bit tired from all this postulating. As Ripper continues to chip away at his health. Starting to advance onto Alistair. Both players soon will have rush on deck as well. Which means there's still potential for Alistair to make a comeback. Or maybe being a little bit too early and only going to get 130 off of that rush. And it is looking like a very Ripper round right now. Ripper is going to enable rush. Going to go for the chip damage. Alistair one hit away from dying. I don't think there's much that Alistair can do in this situation. Maybe he could have built rush just in time, but even then I don't think that is just enough damage that would be possible. And now we're gonna go into game 4. I wanna guess it's probably going to go on to Buster Beach again. I think that's a safe bet. Unless Alistair wants to get another smaller stage. No, we're just gonna go to Buster. To be fair, Ripper is banning... no, he's not banning sparring. So there's that. I think Alistair might be scared of his own movement more than Ripper's overall. I think that might be what's happening. And now we're back again as well with the Ice Dragon on Alistair's side. Which worked really well, honestly, during Winners Finals onto Buster Beach. But I guess we're also trying to mix up the rhythm of the games in order to not really leave the opponent able to adapt too quickly, you know. And so far, it is looking like Ripper is the one getting caught by the Alex Dragon the most. Alistair is in the lip. Alistair going to be able to find the end of that rush for 115 damage. But still stuck in the lip. For trying to apply a lot of pressure, finally landing the rush thanks to a sliding hit from the Tri-Blast. And finally getting a lead onto this match. Getting a grasp. Still has to deal though with all of the Ice Dragon stuff going on right now. So being very high in the sky, trying to play a little bit more defensively. Has Rush. Potentially could use Rush to mount a comeback, but nope. That Tri-Blast is just going to finish the job for Rifa. And yeah, it's definitely Rifa playing way better around the fact that Buster Beach doesn't have nearly as much space as Temple to get stuff done. Starting to push Rifa back. And finally, Rifa gets a little bit of damage onto Alistair in this round too. So being very patient. Unfortunately here, he's going to get caught for that toaster. Alistair is going to be pushed back into the lip. This could mean danger for Alistair. And he's gonna get his rush snuffed out. That is huge for Rifa, who's gonna even be able to find a full win confirm off of that slap hit. And now Alistair is in the red. Gonna be able to push Rifa into the wall. It is not over for Alistair though. There's still 25 seconds on the clock. He is going to get pushed in the lip once again. And just like that, he's going to get checkmated with the Tri-Blast and the slap. And just like that, that is going to be the reset for Rifa. Yeah, very well done by Rifa. And we're going to go straight back to a temple starter for the punish. For the grand finals reset, I mean. And we go straight back in. Rifa versus Alistair. Third match of the day of Rifa versus Alistair with the grand finals. And Rifa is going to go for the Misango as well on this matchup. Trying to mix things up a little bit. Going to go for blue Misango as well. And we also have a cracker on Rifa's left arm, which could be very good for poking. Yeah, we're probably going to see a completely different rhythm from Rifa. Trying to go a lot more, obviously, for the blocks. Also going to bring a pillar of his own to the battle, thanks to those masks. And honestly, it might save him more than once. Rifa is in the red, he's got potentially armor against those chakrams. But that toaster is still a force to be reckoned with in this situation. But yeah, the Ninjara right now doing very well in throwing Alistair off. Unfortunately, the physics of the game here have dictated that this rush will not be completed. With a blocking. as Red Mask. Uses the pillar in order to not get shield broken here. And 7 seconds on the clock, and Riffa has got a very, very, very solid advantage. And that's going to be the first round to Riffa. And now we do have Cool Ring on the field from Riffa, with some good potential for ice chains. But that's assuming he can get in on a double toaster coil. I repeat, a double toaster coil. Which is just going to be extremely oppressive, especially if he gets that third arm. Riffa is in yellow. Has the potential to go invincible by pushing that rush button. Alistair knows it, could probably bait it out, or just kick him out of yellow. Riffa's rush here is going to get blocked. Riffa gets grabbed. And yeah, it's definitely looking like a very different round all of a sudden. Riffa finally gets some ice. Manages to kind of escape the rush thanks to the pillar once again. Like, Misango Pillar doing work here. He's doing a lot of work. Double toasters are coming Riffa's way. He is in yellow, he does have rush. But he is going to get caught in this sidestep. Yeah, that's the big thing about double toaster coil. It is so oppressive. Very oppressive. Just a very oppressive setup. And a very aggressive one at that. Riffa in yellow. Alistair is sitting on rush as well. And yeah, that downed arm is not going to be a good time for Riffa. And Riffa maybe a little bit panicking here. Presses rush maybe a little bit too hastily. Alistair was ready for it. Also gets the grab. And now we have a Riffa who is struggling to get anything done right now. And just like that, that is going to be the first game of the reset going to Alistair. Yeah, very good stuff from Alistair. And that's exactly what I was saying about the Misango. I do feel like the Ninjara was working better overall in this matchup for Riffa. But it's not looking amazing with the Misango. We're definitely seeing some stuff being done by the pillar, most notably. But it's still a very inconsistent setup, so yeah. And yeah, exactly. We're going back to Ninjara. Ninjara was just more consistent overall. Still difficult matchup, but more consistent. It makes sense. But already Alistair is laying down the law. With lots of pressure coming in from all sides. Pillars are already being downed. With getting that Ice Dragon set up. And right now I think Riffa is looking for a way to actually trap Alistair in the corner. I think that's what's happening here. Not gonna be able to get anything out of that though, because Coil got some good tools. Riffa still pushing. Has a good health lead right now. Get some good hits in as well with the Tri-Blast, with the Ice Dragon. Get some good 1-2s. Doing a lot of damage right now. Alistair's on the back foot. Has to find a way to kind of make mount a miraculous comeback. Rifa is also sitting on Rush if need be, but there is no need for that. We'll just cleanly finish it off. Now going to round 2. We've got a Rifa that's being a little bit more aggressive here. Alistair has gone for the Hydra. Going to be able to land the rush here and get a good, sustainable health lead. But to be fair, Rifa is just a few hits away from getting the lead back. That is the power of the Tri-Blast as well. You really need to respect that thing. So Alistair is just doing very well. Making sure that Rifa doesn't get any kind of momentum in this round. Going to keep it clean. Very good grab here from Alistair. Rifa trying to push Alistair in the corner. Once again to try and mount a comeback. He does have Rush. He has the possibility. Gets the grab. Unfortunately, it's going to get Alistair out of that fated corner. Rifa is trying to weave his way in. 10 seconds on the clock. It is getting very close here for both players. Alistair is just going to pop Rush, and just like that, that is going to be the save from Alistair in order to ensure that this round doesn't go Rifa's way. Now we're going to go into round 3 with Rifa having the rush advantage going in. And I feel like if Rifa can get an early advantage, it's going to be much easier for him to just keep it. And it could be for Alistair. Right now it's looking still very even. Very back and forth. Rifa struggling to get any kind of damage that's significant enough on Alistair. Also going to get punished for that Ice Dragon thanks to the rush. And now Alistair is in a very, very good position right now to take that game away. Rifa starting to get some ice going in. Gets the grab as well. Gets back. Gets Alistair back at his level. Both players have rush once again. I think he who lands the rush is going to have a massive advantage going in, and Rifa's just going to have to teleport into it! 10 seconds on the clock. Alistair is frozen and gets baited into the rush, and Rifa is going to seal it out and get that point on the board. Rifa's back in it. Rifa's back in it. But yeah, just delays just a tad bit the rush and catches Alistair off guard here. Very nicely done, and we are going to go straight back to Temple Grounds, apparently. Yeah, straight back to Temple Grounds. We're not leaving the place. And now already, Alistair taking a very early health lead here. starting to stack up for Rifa. And we know that is when Rifa is comfortable. It's when we are in the beginning. He still has the space to move around, but still the pillar to hide behind. So getting that amount of health onto Rifa, pretty huge for Alistair. One pillar down. Rifa still pushing. Gets the Tri-Blast hit. He's going around the world and around the world. Yeah, both players still pretty even in health. The second pillar is down. Alistair is going to pop the rush, trying to delay it. Rifa, aware of this, going to be able to avoid all of it. Also going to be able to avoid the grab and also catch Alistair with that Tri-Blast hit in between the arms commitment, but Rifa is now the one in critical. He does have rush. Alistair is going to soon have rush. 10 seconds on the clock. Rifa pushing Alistair in the corner. Alistair just needs to play very defensively right now. And the chip damage is not going to be enough to take it. Ooh, but the draw though. But the draw though? But the draw though. I really thought that was just Alistair's win. I think the shield break is actually what caused the draw, honestly. That does mean we are back into a round 1 scenario. Except Alistair does have an early rush. And Rifa has to build it back. The only difference right now is that Rifa does not have access to the pillars in order to hide from Alistair. I don't know exactly what the play was here with the rush meter on Alistair's side. Just sitting there. I thought that was an easy punish for Alistair, but apparently not. Rifa on the back foot. He does have rush, but Alistair is still building rush extremely fast. Thanks to just being Dr. Coil. It is looking a little bit rough, honestly, for our ninja. For our local ninja. And Alistair's just going to be able to catch him in the corner. Sleeping, and that is going to be a rush finish. Now going in. Rifa still struggling to get any kind of opening onto Alistair here. Finally gets the Ice Dragon off, but yeah, Alistair's just on point with the movement right now. Completely on point, completely comfortable. It's going to be very tough for Rifa to catch Alistair. Continuing the pressure from Rifa. Alistair finally getting hit for a lot of health in this matchup. Not able to really avoid much of what Rifa has to offer. But the full stun confirm is going to come out from Alistair and push Rifa into the red. And just like that, the situation is completely reversed. 27 seconds on the clock. There's still a lot of time for Rifa to actually try and figure out a way to get the win here. Unfortunately, going to get hard knocked down here. He is one hit away from dying, but I think so is Alistair. Rifa does have rush. If you can catch him with the rush or the Ice Dragon works. Just like that, the Ice Dragon just works. And now we're going into the final round because, you know, remember, there was a draw at the beginning. There's still a lot of work to be done here on Riffa's side and on Alistair's side for either to win. And Riffa is going to get the first hit in that round. And just barely gets the win confirmed. Oh my god, I thought that was going to be a drop. Yeah, well done by Riffa right now, getting a solid advantage on the board. Alistair already on the back foot. Not going to be able to find much with that rush. Gonna get exploded in the face. And right now Alistair's completely on the back foot. Does not know what to do. And that is going to be a slap in the face, and Riffa is going to, after that literal slug of a match, we're at 2-1 for Riffa. And we are going to go to Buster Beach for the next match as well. Definitely, Temple is not Alistair's, like, stage. Honestly. Temple is just not Alistair's stage. But that's the thing. He's going to go and try and control the movement of Riffa here on Buster Beach, and even if he wins, he's probably gonna have to play another round on Temple grounds. So it is definitely going to be tough. However, he already has Riffa pinned down in the lip. And yeah, so far it's looking very even still. Riffa is getting some very good hits from the Tri-Blast. Also trying to use the Ice Dragon strategy against Alistair as much as possible. Because he knows that technically Buster Beach, being more narrow, is going to allow for better Ice Dragon setups. Despite the fact that we are facing Coil, and a very good snuff out of that rush here from Riffa, who's got some very good momentum, but still is kind of stuck into that lower part of the stage. But still, if Riffa can continue to get those hard knockdowns here, we have 32 seconds on the clock, and Riffa is just not going to risk it and secure the round here in order to put himself on match point. Very solid stuff by Riffa. Now Riffa is going to try and progress here. He is right now at a disadvantage. Alistair is going to go for the rush and find the rush here. Because obviously, like, it was very hard for Riffa to get out of there, honestly, in one piece. And Riffa is trying to control Coil from a distance right now. Trying to control Alistair from a distance. Get some slaps in, get some small damage in on both sides. But Riffa is still 25% off in terms of damage. But yeah, both players being very patient. Riffa recognizing that he cannot get the rush confirmed here. Going to have to avoid that rush. Very clean avoidance from Riffa. And just like that, Alistair is now the one on the back foot. Riffa trying to go for a cheeky rush here to finish it off. Not going to be able to land it. 9 seconds on the clock. Anything is possible right now. Riffa just needs to play very defensively. And it is going to be a win. And a very good punish on that rush is going to ensure that Riffa will be taking the EU Arms Challenge number 108. Just like that. Yeah, very nicely done by Riffa. Very good adaptation throughout the entire match. And yeah, GG's to Alistair as well, who played extremely well, had some extremely good movement throughout, but ultimately it was not enough to best the King of Europe, Rifa, who's going to be taking yet another EU Arms Challenge tournament home. And with that, our results are Rifa in first, Alistair in second, Raziel in third, and Iceman in fourth after a intense random set.